style. That's what made me look at Diceomancer. I didn't need another deck builder in my life, but there's something about a well-executed hand-drawn game that just pulls me in. While the art style may be somewhat unique for the genre, almost everything else about Diceomancer feels like it was heavily influenced by other media. The core game plays and feels a lot like Slay the Spire. 3 different worlds that you navigate through a randomly generated board, littered with enemies, bosses, treasure, random events, and places to buy things. Classes that draw from uniquely colored cards that all follow a general theme. Relics that you can collect to passively buff you on your current run. Ascendancy levels that let you add a layer of difficulty to your run, going from 1 to at least 20. I haven't made it to 20 yet, so I can't say there's nothing else after that, but the final achievement is tied to hitting 20, so I think it's a safe assumption. A lot of the names and effects of the actual cards draw from other games as well. I encountered quite a few cards with names and effects copied from Magic the Gathering. Some examples include Ponder, Splinter Twins, and Brainstorm, all of which effectively do the same things as their MTG counterparts. There was also a Mozambique cameo from Apex Legends, cementing itself as the worst item across multiple genres now. Does anything else make Diceomancer unique? Yeah, the actual core concept that sets Diceomancer apart from other deck builders is the fact that it's a game about numbers. Not in a mathy way, in a way that you have this sort of superpower to change any number on the screen into a randomly rolled number, which can be insanely powerful, and really lets your creativity flow. Well, it would, if there wasn't almost always an objectively correct way to use your power. This is where Diceomancer starts to fall apart. Balancing. The power that you're given is so absurdly powerful that it makes the game way too easy. There's no question that in most deck builders you're putting together a deck with the eventual goal of defeating various bosses. When you have the power to basically just set any boss's health to 1, it trivializes most of what you've collected. There's one boss that subverts this rule, but you aren't even guaranteed to run into it. The general power level of all of the cards is also pretty insane. After doing a run on every character, I don't think I actually lost. Also, there are 6 characters, 1 for every color and 1 for every combination of 2 colors. I didn't lose because you're just always too strong. It's not about making good choices, it's about actively avoiding bad choices. If you aren't actively making bad choices, it's really hard to lose. Even though it doesn't really matter, there is a lot of variance in your deck building. I never wound up with a similar deck twice, and there are a lot of mechanics to explore, so my runs felt unique and fun. That's the thing. Even though the game isn't challenging, it is still strangely fun. It's still fun to put together a deck, collect a million relics, and absolutely obliterate whatever stands in your way. Let's talk about what isn't fun. The music. Never in my life have I wanted to literally rip my ears off. I decided that I'd just turn the music off instead, but I was really close. It's just this endless loop of noise. The balancing isn't great either. It just doesn't feel good. You're way too strong. There might be an ascendancy level where it starts to feel challenging, but I haven't found it yet. Mana selection. This goes back to MTG. If you've ever played Magic Arena, you'll know what the auto tapper is. Basically, when you cast a card, it tries to pick the best combination of your available mana to use to cast that card. Magic Arena's auto tapper doesn't always get it right, so you can manually pay mana for when this happens. As far as I can tell, Diceomancer does not do this, so I regularly wound up using mana that could have been better spent on other cards, effectively bricking some of my hands. Upgrading your core power. At the start, you get a d6 that ties back into the whole setting numbers to a random roll power. Over the course of the game, you will run into chances to upgrade it all the way to a d20. But why would you want to? The majority of the time, the best use of this power is to reduce the enemy's health to nothing. Upgrading from a D6 to a D20 actually winds up being worse most of the time. Overall, I enjoyed Diceomancer. It isn't going to replace Slay the Spire for me, but I can see myself going back to it from time to time when I need something different. For me, Diceomancer gets a 7 out of 10. It's a fun, solid game, but it loses points because it just isn't a complete package. Between the music, the balance, and a few other things that just feel unpolished, it just can't get a higher rating from me. That doesn't mean you shouldn't play it, or pick it up and try it out. It just means that you'll probably encounter issues from time to time that could have been improved, but weren't. As always, that's just in my opinion. Feel free to tell me why you hate the ducks in the game, because I hate the ducks. The ducks are the worst. See you next time.